on the 23rd day of Elul, we are getting closer and closer to the end. So very briefly, I shouldn't even say the end, to the beginning, but we're getting closer to the deadline. So yesterday I spoke very briefly about what happens when we sin and then we damage the sfirot that is connected to my three levels of the soul, nefesh, ruach, and neshama. And I explained that before we can even rectify and do any tikkun for the ruach or the neshama, has to be a tikkun for the nefesh. In most cases, most people, their nefesh is full of blemishes. That has to be a tikkun for that. Yesterday, briefly, we explained that in order to do a tikkun, a fix to the nefesh, then you have to go to the level that is above it, which is the ruach. Very briefly, I explained how the nefesh corresponds to the level that is called action. Ruach is speech, and neshama is thought. And in order to fix the nefesh, I have to empower the ruach, and that's by speaking, and that you do by confessing. This is the vidui that we do, and especially we concluded when I say the 13 attributes of mercy, Hashem, Hashem, Kel, Rachum, V'Chanun, where I explained that the word Vaya'avor, you cut it in half, and it's part Chesed, part Gvura. Anyways, I don't want to elaborate too much, so we're not going to take the time of this class from yesterday's class. But I was explaining that in order to refine and to rectify the Ruach, then one has to climb to the level of Neshama. So the Neshama, Gavoa Ma'al Gavoa Metaken, whatever is higher will be able to do the Tikkun. So the Neshama can do the Tikkun for the Ruach, and that's in the level of thought. What's the level of thought? Then that's the part of Teshuvah that is called Charata, remorse and regret. To really get to a level of regret, very few people are able to do that. And the analogy that I gave a few times is, imagine you buy a lottery ticket for $1, and then somebody comes and tells you, I will buy from you the lottery ticket for $1,000. Ooh, $1,000? Well, I'll give you that ticket. And you sell the ticket, of course. And then a few days later, when they do the drawing, then your lottery ticket was the mega $300 million jackpot, and you sold it for $1,000. Now you kick yourself in the head and imagine how you would feel, the regret. That's the regret that you want to feel when you do a sin. That's why I said that very few people reach to the level that they really regret the action that they did. But there's another way of reaching to a level of charata, and you need that in order to do tshuva. Unfortunately, I get it many times that sometimes people, they can't stand their wife or their husband or their parents or some relative. But when the person dies, suddenly, oh, he was so amazing. She was such a great wife. 60 years you were complaining about her. The second she dies, lo alenu, oh, she was an angel. So, and chas v'shalom, I'm not trying to make fun at everybody. I sympathize with everything. I'm trying to make a point that when do you feel the lack and the missing? When the person's gone. So why would you want to wait for that moment? How many times you have a wife, a husband, a child, a parent, you can't stop complaining. And chas v'shalom, something happens, pitom is that's when you feel the absence, pitom is that's where you start mourning, pitom, suddenly you feel, wait a minute, that person is gone. And then it's 1 second too late. How many times I hear from people, if I could only say goodbye, if I could only say I'm sorry. So that's when you can to some extent feel some type of a regret in this world when it comes to somebody very, very close to you. It will come in when it comes to money, when you have the opportunity to invest a lot of money. You know, when I came to the United States many years ago, then somebody at the time came and told me, listen, there's a new company that just became public. You can buy now the shares very, very cheap. And at the time I was like, End up that this company became a huge company, and that's Krispy Kreme and Dunkin' Donuts. That's when they went public. And then you could have bought the shares for nothing. So that's when you want to kick yourself in the head and you regret, I could have invested $1,000, I would be sitting now on millions. So you feel regret when it comes to a lot of money, but you feel the real regret when it comes to somebody very close to you. So the practice you want to take here is you want to focus about the people around you in your life, but not the people that necessarily you care for, rather the people that care for you. The people that depend on you, and the people that they look up to you, the people that need you. And we tend to brush off, especially when it comes to the close people around us, we tend to brush them off. How many times a person is very busy with his iPhone and the kid is, daddy, daddy, no, not right now. And you're focusing on some nonsense, and you're brushing off somebody that really needs you. Your child, your spouse, and you don't do it because you're evil or mean. It's just that's how life is, and that's where you want to stop and say, no, that's not how life should be. That when my child turns to me, then I have to stop everything, like as if the lottery company called me, what? And leave everything and give all my attention to my child. Not because he's dear to me, because I'm dear to him or her. And to think, wait a minute, how many times people lose their loved ones like that? And you, if I would just, one last hug, one last goodbye. And again, chas v'shalom, I'm not trying to make fun of the ones who complain later. I'm not, don't get me wrong, and definitely don't take my words out of context. Rather, I'm saying, stop for a second to say, wait a minute, what if, let's paint the picture as dark and as black and as horrible as it can happen. What if something happens right now? What if right now something happens? I don't want to say even what, but how would I react? Wouldn't you want to cherish every moment of those people around you? So yes, we talked about it a few weeks ago, that you have to have appreciation, gratitude, sympathy, understanding, patience to all those people around you. But you have to stop for a second and say, wait a minute, I'm trying to do tshuva here. So I'm doing tshuva in one level, and then the next level. Now I want to reach to a level, I explained that already a few days ago, that Rambam says in Hilchot Tshuva, in the laws of tshuva, you have to have three things to start your tshuva. First of all, you have to stop the sin. But nevertheless, first you have to have charata, you have to have remorse, you have to have vidui, confession, and then you have to have kabbalah latin, to take on yourself, that's it, I'm not doing it ever again. But the vidui is a big part, the confession, but the charata, the regret, it's a huge part. You don't have regret. What kind of a tshuva are you doing here? It's a fake tshuva, so to say. So you want to bring yourself to a level that you can create a mechanism that when you need to really relate with charata, with regret, then you know how to activate that to do tshuva. So in my personal story, when I share my personal story, my near-death experience, it's 90% very hard to share what I felt, saw, experienced. But I can always try in the beginning, if you remember, if you're familiar with the story, that I was sitting in the back seat of the car and everything froze, and all that was going on in my mind is how I messed up my life, is how I destroyed everything in my path, how I was rude, mean, stole, everything. And the regret, that was the pain. It wasn't fear, it wasn't anger, it was regret. This, I messed everything up. The analogy that I give when I share my story is I compare it to a person that chas v'shalom decides to kill themselves. They go stand on the highest rooftop in the city, they look down, take a deep breath and jump. Now imagine what's going on in that person's mind the second the feet leave the ground. What did I do? I just killed myself. Now I can't jump up and I have about a minute before I hit the ground. Now that's real regret. I can't reverse it. So I felt, in my personal experience, there's no way for me to give it over. What it means real regret. When you know, one-way ticket, no turning back. Can you imagine? The moment that you see Malach HaMavet, the angel of death coming and telling you, it's time to go, Habibi. But I didn't do. You had your chance. You had your chance. Try to relate with that. Now it's very hard for us to relate as humans because we are optimistic. I'm going to live till 90. Everything's going to be good. Tomorrow I'll see you. Goodbye, I'll see you tomorrow. Who said you're going to see you tomorrow? When you say goodnight to your wife, to your kids, you're so sure you're going to see them in the morning? So again, I'm not trying to paint the picture dark that you should live under a black cloud. but you should live under some type of a reality, not to fear the future, but rather to cherish the present. Now, when you cherish the present and you see the value of the people around you, more than that, you see how you are valuable to others, you can start relating with what it means to regret. What if I miss it? What if I don't have it anymore? What if I can't say goodbye? What if I'm not going to do this or that ever again? Then you start developing a system of charata, of regret. What if I'm not going to be able to do tshuva? What if chas v'shalom, I'm doomed to die today, chas v'shalom, I'm not going to be able to do tshuva? Can you fathom living the world without doing tshuva? Most people don't understand what it means to leave the world. I have another 15 years to go. Who said, yeah, maybe I might have 15 seconds. Do tshuva now. So to really dig into the depth of the tshuva, yes, you have to stop the sin. Yes, you have to confess and all the rest of the stuff. But if you don't feel inside that what did I do? To reach to a level that you despise the action that you did, ooh, now you're already talking about real tshuva. So how do you start developing a system like that? Then you look what's close to you. That to have some type of a system. When you know, many times people are lazy to do things. But if you tell them, listen, it's going to affect your child, no, don't touch the child. It's going to affect your, no, please don't. Why? Something very dear to me. Something very dear to me has a threat. No, okay, stop. So again, you have to, I hope you're not going to distort what I'm trying to say. The point is to see and to value everything around you, to understand how many people depend on me. You know when people depend on me? How many kids are waiting for me to come home? And how disappointed they are when I don't come home? How disappointed they are when they come to tell me something and I brush them off because I have to check my WhatsApp message right now. Just think of the disappointment that you're causing another person that is looking up to you, my father. Sometimes your wife is waiting for you, your husband, 2-3 days, you go on a trip. So we have to be much less selfish to understand that there are people around us. And you know why I'm specifically saying that? It's because when you lose chas v'shalom, the loved one, suddenly, he was such an amazing man. What do you mean such an amazing man? It's 50 years, I only hear you complain about him. Suddenly, so don't wait for that moment. See, count your blessings. See all the good around you. See how many people love you, how many people depend on you. Even if you don't have kids, even if you don't have a wife at this moment, you have parents that love you. You have siblings, you have friends. And when you value that, that's when you can start relating with, wait a minute, if I have the what if? Don't get to the what if. Cherish it now. And you know what? When you start applying into your life, you'll see the Kadosh Baruch Hu will start opening to you the gates of tshuva and letting you do real tshuva, where you really cherish every moment of your life, every breath that the Kadosh Baruch Hu gives you. Wow, I'm alive, I can do tshuva, I can do some big change. Bezrat Hashem, this is a very big part in our tshuva, that it's not about me. I'm not the center of the universe. Some people depend on me, need me, and how would I feel when I'm the one on the other side? Bezrat Hashem, hopefully, I know it's a little bit heavy now what I said, but hopefully it will start resonating and sinking in. Maybe watch the video a few more times to understand, because when you apply what I just told you and you master it, your level of tshuva is a total different level, because you don't think of yourself anymore. You're not selfish. It's not about you. You're not the center of the world. You start looking at other people's needs. Then you start valuing even your own relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Believe it or not, the world needs you. If Hashem created you, the world needs you. Don't be selfish and says, what can the world give me? What can you give the world? So a lot to think about. I know today is a little bit heavy, but digest it. Let it resonate in your mind. I can guarantee to you, will take you to a total different level in your tshuva. And the time is running out. Rosh Hashanah is Sunday, Bezrat Hashem. Hashem should bless us to be successful in everything that we do.